Today I had the privilege of speaking with Joseph Dirand, one of the greatest architects of our generation. I met him at 812 Fifth Avenue in one of the most beautiful apartments that he designed. What I love about your work is it's very current, it's contemporary, but it's also classic at the same time.
At the beginning of my career, I was a very minimalist architect. So it seems that it was almost for me something that before to be able to work on something else, I need to do the perfection of simplicity.
You started very young, in your early 20s.
Yes, I think I get my first project when I was 22.
Wow.
During my study. So like my last years of study, my teacher say, okay, so you show us what you're doing.
Right.
And we
grade it?
We graded you at the end when you show us all these things. So that was I was very lucky for that.
Did you always know you wanted to be an architect?
Yeah, I think probably like since I was 8.
Your father was a photographer?
Yeah, my father was a photographer of interior and architecture. He taught me how to look at things that I get this wish to become an architect.
Right.
And I know that it was also one of his dreams to become an architect, so probably it was also for me a great motivation to do that also for him.
You did the Belmont store?
Yeah.
And how difficult is it when you have an existing brand to design for that brand, because you have your own brand, you have your own aesthetic?
It's more easy than to work with a new brand, because finally I have something to deal with, you know. Right. I have the history of a brand, and in specific for Balmain, it's amazing because it's Pierre Balmain, it's remind the after-war fashion, the cinema, all this dress, and finally it's almost the beginning of the haute couture.
In your opinion, what's the greatest piece of architecture in the world? I know that's probably
beside my work.
Besides your work, of course.
No, I really think that I have a passion for the Villa Malaparte in Capri, because it's just simple. It's the relation between architecture and nature. It has nothing to do with pretentious, nothing to do with over design. It's just the perfect answer with the nature.
Right.
And the perfect answer to how you feel this relation with nature and architecture.
And how much more difficult I think it is to create something that's simple and clear and easy to understand than something that's complicated and very busy.
When I start design project, I'm like absolutely obsessive, you know, of line. So if I don't find a way to connect all the line together, so there is nothing that cannot relate to something else.
Right.
Everything has a reason, the reason of the design.
So how do you start?
First, it comes with the inspiration, and so what I do, it's I pick all of my books, magazines, things. I cut photos, and I create almost like a storyboard of a movie. Right. With all of these images and things. It can come from a scene of a movie, from ancient architecture, from very different things, art, sculpture, painting, whatever. And I put all that together, and finally, if you look at all of this image, there is images that really are very contrast. Right. And finally, it's this conversation between all of these images that create a little bit the direction of the project. I'm not trying to design, and I don't so much pay attention to aesthetic. Aesthetic come by its own, you know. It's the
I don't know. It looks like you paid a lot of attention.
No, but finally, it's because the main thing is to really create experience, and what is the story you talk about. The reason of black and white is not really because it's not absolutely not for aesthetic reason in a way. It's because I like to work with contrast. This contrast comes into different elements. It's contrast in the style, contrast in history, contrast on the scale, contrast with the tone,
Right.
And it's also the perfect balance of nuance to play with light. It's very difficult for me to do something that I cannot justify.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah.
in a way, it's very difficult for me to use color if there is no real reason.
Do you mind walking me through the apartment a little bit and show me a little bit about some of the details and some of your inspiration and how you made certain choices?
Yeah, sure.
Great. Why don't we start here with the? I mean, this is such an unbelievable floating counter.
Yeah, I mean, I think now the way we live the kitchen is it's very different than before.
Sure.
Specifically because now I think for this category of apartment, the kitchen has two lives, a service life and a family life.
Right.
And I try to make the kitchen work to combine these two functions. I love to cook,
Right.
and I hate to cook facing a wall. You know,
Absolutely.
for me, it's such a great experience that it's something you want to share with the other, with your family, with the people you invite, and everything.
Sure.
And it's something that you want to do in front of something, in front of the view, in
Yeah, I
front
mean,
of the other.
I don't know many kitchens in the world like this where you look beautiful
with the sink
and Central Park over there, and it's very connected to the living space.
All this apartment is composed around these ideas of frame, of the views, of the doors and everything. So all the lines are totally symmetric.
Right.
So the frame of these doors are absolutely the same size and aligned with the frame of the window.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so all the composition is like that.
Right.
And you have this possibility of having the room totally open, and you don't almost feel the doors.
Right.
And if you want, you can insulate the room with this
beautiful
door. And then the kitchen became a service kitchen. So I like to mix something very contemporary with something with a little classic. I mean, the fireplace, very classic that we bring from France, mixed with these sconces from Rick Owens, very sculptural. I think this combination of things are very important.
This is amazing, this frame.
Yeah, the perspective is very important. You know, the fact that in every angle you have this relation with the view.
This is
the master bedroom.
Beautiful. That window is spectacular.
Yeah, I think this is really the idea of this bedroom. It's finally, it ended up because for me it was not natural at the beginning, you know, to place the bed like this.
Right.
But for me it was more a problem to enter in a room with the bed back of with the bed that doesn't look at the door. I placed the window behind the bed, really like a painting. I like when you have something in a room which is all open. Right. Because I think, you know, to open doors, it's a lot of energy for nothing, you know. When I've designed this sink, it's like, how come I didn't design it before?
It's so obvious.
It's so obvious. Expression of its functionality without taking out everything of is not needed. At the back of this bathroom, you have this very large shower, which is very spectacular because the scale of the shower overlooking the view of New York.
What would your dream project be now?
That starts to be complicated because always I get a project and I say, wow, this is amazing.
Really?
You know, it's always, I remember like 6 years ago, the first time I came in Paris to visit the apartment of the same owner of here, and it's a very famous apartment in Paris.
Okay.
And I came in front of the building. I say, oh, it's in the same building as this incredible apartment and everything. And I went into the elevator. I opened the door and I end up in this apartment.
It's that apartment.
Say, this is crazy. This is crazy. I cannot believe that. I was 31. I cannot believe that at 31 I already have a project. So for me, it was a project of the end of your career. You know?
Sure.